What's happening, guys? I'm from Techsource. Welcome back to Setup Wars episode 157, where you submit your desk setup to get featured on the channel. If you guys want to participate, make sure to watch the video linked down below. With that said, let the Setup Wars begin. Kicking off the episode is Dewin and his upgraded setup since episode 127. He actually went from a triple pyramid stack layout to a dual monitor setup, and he uses this for gaming, video editing, and other work-related tasks, including music recordings with his drumming gear. In case you guys haven't noticed, this setup is powered by a laptop, the Dell Inspiron 7559, which is docked on a station. By the way, real quickly, if you guys want to see a laptop edition of Setup Wars where I feature the best laptop setups I've seen on the show, let me know in the comment section. Other than symmetry, there's a few other things I really like about this setup. First of all, the desk he's using is the IKEA HALLESTAD countertop with the aluminum borders, and that's being supported by some CAPITA legs and the Alex drawers. I like that he went with gray Alex drawers instead of the white ones to give it more of a contrast with the desk. Another thing I like about the setup are the speaker placements. So he mounted two IKEA lac shelves on the wall, and he mounted the speakers right underneath it, which not only looks cooler in my opinion, but also allows him to use the top of the shelf to put stuff on. The aluminum border he added on the wall shelves are actually very clever, and it blends in nicely with the countertop accents. Another benefit of mounting the speakers like this is that cable management is a lot easier. All you have to do was route the cables straight down using some wall raceways. So all the cables run straight down and into the channel raceway, which then lead to the laptop. I personally don't think the middle leg is necessary for support since he doesn't have that much stuff in the middle and he's only running dual monitors. The countertops from IKEA are very sturdy, so he wouldn't be experiencing any bowing, and I'm speaking from personal experience. I also feel like the support really bothers your legs, judging by how close it is to the front. If it really bothers you and you don't want to remove it, I do suggest pushing it towards the back a little bit. That way it gives your legs some extra space. I like what he did with the position of the RGB mouse pad, and routing both cables underneath the keyboard and through the desk looks really clean. He does have a drum set behind his setup, and he uses the V-MODA Crossfade headphones for that and the Audio-Technica M40Xs for his actual setup. I also like where he mounted his blue Snowball Ice microphone. The actual boom arm is hooked up on the monitor arm itself and not on the desk, and that's why he's able to extend the microphone that far out behind the monitors. For a laptop setup, this is actually very impressive. Dewin stated in the notes that he's constantly on the road, hence why he prefers this type of setup, but he is planning on purchasing a desktop PC later this year. Thank you, Dewin, for entering. Jan is up next from Austria and his beast triple monitor gaming setup. So he's rocking three Quad HD 165Hz gaming monitors from ASUS that are mounted on the wall, and below that we got some Razer gear, the Black Widow X Chroma keyboard and the Lancehead Tournament Edition mouse. Now for audio, he's got the Razer Leviathan Bluetooth speaker and the Black Shark gaming headset. He's also using the Seiren microphone, and he mounted it in an interesting location, right above his calendar on the left side of his setup. In the notes, he stated that he was going with a black and green color scheme with some red accents, which we can see across the setup and also inside the PC. By the way, props for using the PC tower as a nightstand. So it looks like it's running on two separate loops, and it's packing the 6800K, 16 gigs of RAM, and two ASUS Strix 980 Ti's in SLI. Cable management isn't bad, however I would find a way to wrap the cables from the monitors. Maybe using a white sleeve like this from Amazon will help keep the cables hidden while at the same time blending in with the wall. It's not a bad setup, but it could use some more work to improve, mostly on the cables. Thanks, Jan, for entering. At number 3 is John, all the way from Germany, and his very clean dual monitor gaming and productivity setup. Looks like he's rocking two BenQ monitors that are mounted on the desk. I don't know why, but I'm kind of digging those blackout keycaps on the Master Keys Pro S keyboard. It kind of gives off this cool stealthy look. The speakers he's using are the popular Mackie CR4s, which are being held up with the IKEA shelves, and the cables are neatly hidden using wall raceways. Nicely done. He does have some headphones as well. We got the Sennheiser HD598 CS headphones that's resting on the AMOV headphone stand. And for audio input, he's using the Rode NT microphone, which he tucked behind his monitor when not in use. The PC powering the setup is inside the tiny N-Case M1, and it's packing the 4790K. We got 16 gigs of RAM and the EVGA GTX 1080. By the way, the tempered glass panel was custom made by him, and so was the 5-inch screen inside the PC that displays the stats and the temperature of the PC. Not bad. I may not agree with the loose wires on top of the desk, but the cables under the desk are managed well thanks to the Signum rack and the help of some raceways. I think it's a pretty clean and straightforward setup. Thank you, John, for entering. Next up is Matthew from New York and this interesting setup with a scary theme to it. So Matthew has actually been a long-time subscriber of the channel and he used Setup Wars to gain inspiration on improving his setup over the years. This is what he currently has, a dual stacked monitor setup that he uses for gaming, music production, and recording videos for his YouTube channel. Both monitors are mounted on the massive 98-inch HALLESTAD countertop from IKEA, and that's being held up by some CAPITA legs and the Alex drawer units. Alright, now 98 inches is pretty wide, and since there is no support in the middle, you can start to see some bowing due to the weight of both monitors. In this particular setup, I would recommend adding a leg in the center as support, but I would keep it towards the back where the monitor stands attaches to the desk. It's not a huge deal, but it will prevent the desk from bowing more in the future. So on the desk, we got the Razer Synosa Chroma keyboard with the Razer Death Adder mouse. I'm actually glad he grouped up both wires together instead of leaving them alone. It looks much cleaner this way. Since Matthew uses this setup for music production, he does have a lot of audio gear. We got preamps, audio interfaces, and a mixer all within reach. And he also has a few headphones as well. The PlayStation Gold wireless headset and the Earforce X42s for gaming, while he uses the Beats Solo wireless headphones and the KRK Studio headset for music. I'm actually surprised to find out he's using the Logitech Z623 speakers instead of a pair of really high quality bookshelf speakers, but he's a professional here, not me. Cables are managed very well for the most part. I can tell that he got inspiration from Setup Wars because this is Cable Management 101 that I always talk about in my videos. We got channel raceways to route cables, we got 3M tapes for the power strips and the power bricks, and cable clips to keep the wires organized. Nicely done. The PC powering the setup is tucked away in the corner and it's equipped with the 7700K. We got a GTX 1080 from ASUS and 16 gigs of RAM. If he's not gaming on the PC, he's obviously on the PS4 or Xbox One. Aside from the weird masks and costumes you have scattered everywhere, I think this is a dope setup and you did a great job putting it together, especially coming from your original setup a few years back. Thank you, Matt, for entering. Last but not least, we got Nicholas, who is a student and he uses this setup for gaming and editing highlights for his YouTube channel. It's a black and blue themed setup using two monitors that are mounted on his motorized desk, which makes sense why he's using a cable sleeve to cover the cables under here. There has to be some sort of slack available so that it can expand and retract along with the desk. For peripherals, he's using the Corsair K65 Lux keyboard and the G403 wireless mouse. The only audio source he has are the HyperX Cloud wireless headset, which is hanging from the NZXT puck, and I really like what he did with the cables over here. He used a clip to hold it in place. He does have a microphone as well, the Blue Yeti that's mounted on the desk using a boom arm, and finally the PC that's powering everything, which has a 7600K, 16 gigs of RAM, and the ASUS Strix 1080. The cables are organized very well underneath the desk. Looks like he mounted pretty much everything under here. We got the power strip, we got some power bricks for the monitors, and the clips and tape to hold everything in place. There are a few things I would recommend to improve your setup. Firstly, adding a tiny pencil drawer like this one underneath your desk will give you easy access to store things like your RGB remote and whatever that hard shell case is. Secondly, I would route the cables behind your TV towards the right so that way you can just run the channel raceway straight down because it doesn't look good going diagonally. Lastly, I feel like the mic can be positioned in a better place. Either move your PC to the right a little bit so that you can squeeze the mic between the second monitor and the PC from the back, or try mounting the entire boom arm on the monitor mount, which will give you much longer reach. I don't know if either methods will work out, but it's worth trying it out if you're not happy with your current setup. But that's pretty much all I got. It's a solid gaming setup for a 15-year-old. Thank you, Nicholas, for entering, and good luck on your YouTube channel. And that does it for this episode of Setup Wars. As always, make sure you guys drop your comments below and vote on who you think has the best desk setup, and I'll announce the winners on my social media platforms. If you guys enjoyed the show, make sure to drop a like, and if you didn't, you know what to do. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.